Hello everyone, welcome to part 1 of my Ultimate Persona Collection video, what I am deeming to be the biggest Persona collection maybe anyone has in the world. This is a video that I've actually shot quite a few times, and every time I made this video, I felt like I wasn't doing it justice, I felt like I wasn't doing it right, or it was way too long. There's just a lot of things, and then also it was at a time where a lot of things were still coming in the mail, limited run games, some vinyls, some books, things like that. So making the collection video seemed a little disingenuous when there are a few more things right around the corner. Well, those things have seemed to slow down now. There's always one or two things trickling in. But for the most part, all the bigger things have released. There's no big games on the horizon. I mean, there's Persona 4 Revival coming out, but that's not going to be for a few years. But the way that I've decided to make this video is that I'm going to do this by parts, and I'm going to do this by shelves. So I have about 5 main shelves, plus 2 shelves of books in the other room, plus, let's call it another shelf of just random stuff around the house. So do the math, that's going to be about 9 parts to this collection video. I did a poll recently on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, that one Andrew, or maybe it's at Slightly MP, I'm not sure. Either one should take you to the channel though, or if you're watching this video, just click on the name below and subscribe there to see where I put up these polls, because I'm going to know what you guys appreciate most, what you guys like. I know a lot of you like these collection videos. I do too. I like going around and perusing other people's collections and seeing, because they're all unique. Everyone has this different things, different styles, different collectibles, which I find really, really cool. And hopefully you'll find this collection cool too. I don't have too many figures. I'd say the figures are definitely the thing that I have the least amount of, but everything else, I think that I have a pretty good collection, especially when it comes to the actual games. I don't have every version of every game, but I do have quite a bit of every version. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is just going to be my first shelf, so don't expect just games, just figures, anything like that. Every shelf is going to be kind of a mixture until we get near part 7, which is going to be mostly just books or things like that. But to start this collection video, we're going to start with the game that started it all, and that's the original Persona or Revelations series Persona. Persona, of course, is a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei series, and this is actually a continuation of Shin Megami Tensei If. I've not played the original Shin Megami Tensei. Actually, I haven't really played any of them. Not that I don't like them. I've dabbled in a couple of them, the 3DS one and then in 5. But I have a lot of games, and unfortunately Persona is one of those games that I've never beaten. I have gotten quite a bit of way through it, especially on the PSP, the remake of the PSP, or the remake of Persona on the PSP. I have gotten, I'd say, at least halfway through the game, but unfortunately never beaten it. Maybe on stream I'd beat it one day, because now I'm getting into that. Following that up, we have Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. This is actually part 2 to the duology of Persona 2. There's the game right there. There was a bonus disc included with this. I have that bonus disc somewhere on the shelf, so we will see it in the future. I had to buy it separately because when I got this copy, it did not come with the bonus disc. So, like I said, let me move it over. Let's stick with PS1 games here for a second. So here is Eternal Punishment again, but this is the Japanese version of Eternal Punishment. I'll go ahead and open it up and show off the inside art. This was, oh my goodness, I'm already dropping things. I'll get it later. This was around the time where I was really big into importing. You can see this one has a special preview disc in here. I'm thinking about doing like a PlayStation. I might just do a collection video on all my different games or all my different consoles. But I got really big into importing around this time, and especially with my PlayStation Vita games. And for a moment there, I was like, I'm gonna get every version of Persona. I'm gonna get the Japanese versions too. That was silly. But I did get a few of them. Here we have PlayStation's greatest hits of the original Persona, which definitely can open it. There we go. And a lot of these I got because they do have different art covers. They do have their manuals. And honestly, if you want to, I mean, I can't play these games because I don't have a Japanese PlayStation 1. But if you want to, these imports are relatively cheap. And they're kind of a cool collector's item to have. And then here is Innocent Sin, the first part of the game that we never got. And I am on team remake Persona 2. I want a remake of these games. To play the complete duology is kind of a hassle. I'm just making a mess. As you can see, some of them came with these cards. But I would love a remake of Persona 2. I've gotten quite a bit of way through both Internal Punishment and Innocent Sin. Have not beat either of them because again, I don't beat games. That's not true actually. I play so many games that I do beat a lot of them, but I just get lost. And I'm in the middle of Final Fantasy 9 right now, and it's been 6 months, and I'm like 10 hours in just because I play so many at the same time. So I'm just get lost in the cracks. But yeah. So those are the PlayStation 1 games. Now, just to randomly jump, we have Persona 5 Royale, the Steelbook Edition. I really, really like this cover. If we open it up, there's the game. And then this cover, like that. We're going to see. I have quite a few copies of Persona 5. We might not even be looking through all the copies because some of them might be on my other shelf with my other PS5 games. Here's Persona 5 Tactica. You can pick this up at any game store. I almost said Best Buy. That was my go-to. My go-to place was Best Buy. That's interesting. Another copy of Persona 5 Royale. Another Steelbook version. But as you can see, it is different. There's a moment there. And I'm sure it's still like this, but I've cooled down on my game collecting. I mean, I still buy probably over 100 games a year. But there was a moment there where steelbooks were getting kind of insane. Like, everything had to have a steelbook. Every place had to have 5 different steelbooks. It was really annoying. Persona 5 Strikers, or Scramble. I believe this is the Japanese import, because it says Scramble. That was another thing, too. Steelbooks would have different variations depending on the region. Kind of annoying for a collector like me. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. I don't know where the game is. That's a problem. This is the Japanese version because it never came out physically in America. So we didn't get it. Oh, I know where this is. It's in my PS4. Because that's the last game I played in there. Great game, though. Really fun story. Fun continuation of the Persona 4 story. My wife actually just beat Persona 4 Golden. And I told her, well, now you got to play Arena and Dancing and Q, because those are all canonical, technically. Here we have an unopened copy of Persona 3 Portable on the Xbox. This is one of those limited run games. I'm not opening it just because I have no reason to open it. I own this game digitally. I own it physically 100 times. That's not true, not 100 times, but I already own it a ton. Here it is on Switch, which this is with my Switch games. I like the manual that it came with. It's a good game. It's a shame that they did not remake the female route on the remake, but it is what it is. So these are some interesting ones. So we have Persona Q2 and Persona Q. Neither of the games are actually in here. Shin Megami Tensei 4 is in here. And then Persona Q is in Persona Q2. Now, the reason that these games are in here is actually because these games don't work. 3DS games just sometimes die. These two died. Out of like the 50 or 60 3DS games that I have, both were Atlas games that died. Now, interesting story about Persona Q, though. One day I'm going to buy another physical copy because I want that working copy. But it was like the day before the 3DS store shut down. I was testing my games and I saw the Persona Q didn't work anymore. I actually emailed Atlas and I said, hey, I listen to a lot of gaming podcasts. I, watch a lot of game reviewers and things like that. I know you guys just have like a bucket of review codes sitting there, just free codes for the game. Can I have one? And I got a response back from them and they're like, oh, we're sorry, we don't have any codes. No, we can't do that. blah, blah, blah. I emailed back and I was like, listen, I understand what you're saying, but I know you have the codes. I know this is a thing. The game stopped working randomly. The shop shuts down in a day. You don't have to, but I would really appreciate it if you could just give me one of those codes. And then the next email, they're like, all right, here you go. Here's a code. So that was kind of, that, not kind of, that was very nice of them. And also kind of, when you're in the know of like, hey, I kind of know how the industry works just because I've watched so many videos and just done so many things, or not done so many things, but really it's just watched a lot of videos, listened to a lot of podcasts. You hear about the relationships people have, and you start to get to know how the industry kind of works. But interesting story about Persona Q. Great game, by the way. Should have had a English dub. Really exciting. Here we have Persona 3 on the PlayStation 2. This is the Japanese version of Persona 3. I like the box art and the disc art of this game. Great game. Even with its limitations of not controlling your party members, I actually like that because it's a different way of playing. It's a different challenge. Here we have Persona 3, but the American version. Not as good disc art, but still good. I think you can get this on Amazon for like $20 right now. There's honestly a lot of PS2 games you can get pretty cheap still. Here we have Persona 5 Royale again, but this is the Japanese import. And then we have the GOAT, Persona 4 on PlayStation 2. I'm actually a Persona 4 Golden person. Alright, continuing on. Next we have Persona 4, or no, 4. Persona 3 and 5, the Dancing Games Endless Collection. You want to talk about biggest disappointment. These games, they're not bad, but you could tell that this was rushed. Doing 2 games at once was not a good idea. The remixes weren't as good. The story modes were just gone. Replaced with some, I don't even know what it was. Very disappointed after Persona 4 Dancing All Night, which I do think is a genuinely great game. Another copy of Persona 5 Royale. This time it's for the Xbox. Same steelbook that we've seen before, but it's for the Xbox. I don't import different variations anymore unless it's like different collector's editions or steelbooks. But I do try to get every single platform of the game. Speaking of, we have here a sealed copy of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax that includes the tarot cards and the Teddy Pop Bag. And we actually have that over on the shelf. We'll get to that in a later video. But yeah, great game. Really fun fighting game. And still played at tournaments. And here is the original Persona 4 Arena, also sealed. I played these games on PlayStation, and I dabble on Switch a little bit. I have no reason to play it on Xbox, but again, to collect them. Here we have another copy of Persona 5 Strikers for the PlayStation 4. I believe this is an American version. I mean, it should be the American version. Oh, and look at this. It's Persona 5 Strikers. But this is the steelbook of it. The game's not in there because the game actually was not included with this steelbook that I got. So this is just decorative, but it's a collectible. It's nice. Here we have Persona 4, the Ultimax Ultra Suplex Hold Limited Edition. This is the collector's edition of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax that came out in Japan. Came with this card, and then there's some DLC codes in that little pack. And then the game. And it has this really cool slipcover that's white and shiny and gold. Here we have another copy of Persona 5. This is the original Persona 5, not Royale. I really like the art design of this. I have all the main cast walking away from the city, and they're white. Good design, good game. And followed right by that, we have Persona 5 on the PlayStation 3. It's genuinely shocking, actually, how many people don't realize that Persona 5 is a PlayStation 3 game. And I get that Persona 5 Royale is a remake and all that, but at its core, that game is a PlayStation 3 game. It was originally announced before the No, that's not true because Catherine was made first, and then the PS4 came out in 2014. It might have been announced only as a PS3 game, actually. No, it was because Atlas usually launched games for consoles after the next console got released. So Persona 3 came out for the PS2 when the PS3 launched. Persona 4 came out 2 years after the PS3 had launched. Persona 5 was looking like it was going to come out just for PS3 after the PS4 launched, and then they decided to port it. But a lot of people don't realize it is a PlayStation 3 game. You all are fans of a PlayStation 3 game, and don't forget it. Speaking of PlayStation 3, we got a couple more over here. I'm going to kind of speed through these because they're basically the same. So we have another copy of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax right here. And then we have two copies of Persona 4 Arena. One is the American version, one is, I think, Canadian, actually. And this included a mini soundtrack with it. That's why I imported that. Persona 4 Arena. Different disc cover, too. Here we have the Persona 3 Limited Edition on PlayStation 2. And it came with this art book and this soundtrack in the art book. An interesting PlayStation 2 limited edition. It's just a cardboard sleeve and everything's kind of shoved in there. This box is kind of beat up on the edges, but that's okay. Not too worried about that. Sticking with Persona 3, we have right here Persona 3 Fez, two different versions. This one is the American version that you can get very cheap online anywhere, ranging from like $10 to $15. Highly recommend Fez. You get the DLC that was released with Fez. Plus, I think you can control your party members in this version. I might be wrong by that. I think portable maybe is when you could start controlling your party members. But very good game. And then this is the Japanese version or release of Fez, where it was only Fez. The original Persona 3 is not on this disc. And then the game that started it all, Persona 4 Golden, my first Persona game that led to all this fandom. Cartridge not in there because it's in my Vita right now because I like to go back, and actually it was like 3 days ago that I booted it up and just played a little bit of it, mostly for nostalgia, but I also just love the Vita and love that game. So push these out of the way. Because the next thing is we have the Persona Trinity Souls Premium Edition. I have done an unboxing on this if you'd like to go check that video out. But this is the anime Persona Trinity Souls and an art book. It's very long, very inconvenient for a shelf, but it's also pretty cool. Again, if you want a more in-depth look at these, check out my unboxing video. And here is volume 2, same thing. 2 DVDs, giant art book, giant cardboard sleeve. Okay. Over here, I don't know why this is separate, but dynamic theme code. It's interesting. We have Persona 4 the Golden for Xbox. This was not a limited run game. And then we have this cardboard sleeve that you put both Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden for the Switch. They both slide in there. Nice storage. There's no real reason why I haven't put them in there. It's just I haven't. Here is Persona 4 Golden Solid Gold Premium Edition. Again, I've done an unboxing on this. I might make a new unboxing because that unboxing is very old. I have to go through and see which ones are modern and which ones are kind of old and crusty. Because I would like to do an official unboxing for all of these collector's editions. But I need to go see which ones I've already remade. Here we have a Morgana plushie. This came with one of the collector's editions. I'm not sure which one. But yeah, he just sits on my shelf and he looks like that. We have this etched 3D crystal from Persona 3 the movie. This is Thanatos. This is the persona that comes out at the beginning of the game. Really cool. I have quite a few of these crystals. I really like them. They're nice shelf displays. Here we have I think this is a pop-up parade figure of Joker from Persona 5. Here's one of my favorite figures. We have Makoto from Persona 5, who I think is the best character in that game. That's just my opinion, but it's right. We have Kasumi from Persona 5 Royale. And then we have the best character from Persona 4 Golden. Just kidding. Well, she's one of the top ones. But we have Rise from Persona 4 Dancing All Night. All right. And that right there is the first shelf. Like I said, we're going to break this up into different parts. That way, if you want the shorter videos, you have the shorter videos. But at the end, if you want to wait, I'm going to stitch all these videos together and have the ultimate Persona collection video. It will be over an hour long. It might be over 2 hours long at the end of it. But if you want to come with me on this journey as we go through these over the next, I don't know. I hope to have this all done within like the next week. There's a lot. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot of talking. But again, showing off this collection video I think is really cool. You guys get to see. Maybe you saw something here that you didn't even know existed. We'll actually get into some of that later. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Comment below, what is your favorite thing that you saw in this collection video? How many of these things do you have? How many of these things did you not know existed? And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of this goofy stuff. I've been live streaming recently too. I'll probably continue doing that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next collection video. Goodbye.